Hello and welcome to this painting tutorial. Today I'm doing a how I paint of Chaos Space Marines of the Black Legion. Trying out a different setup today, and I know I haven't done much in a while. So I've gotten a little bit started here, partly because I got interrupted, so I'm starting again. And all I'm doing is applying a dry brush of Shadow Grey. So I'm prepping the dry brush until it's a powdery colour. And then I am just applying it to the higher areas. And the top of the feet. And I'm also going to apply the same to the backpack, applying it to the uppermost areas and on the edges to achieve sort of broad lines, per se. So I'm going to do all that later, and I'm going to show you sort of one I did earlier up to a stage, and that is a dude I've been working on most of the day. This was recorded and probably uploaded as well. Just give me a moment to find the pieces. And I'm just going to cut out the rest of the pieces this guy is using. So the dude's head got gun pouch, which was painted first scorched brown, or the modern equivalent will do, and then dry brushed with Calvin brown, or the modern equivalent. I've also painted the skin. That's supposed to... Nope. Just need to go over. So I'm just touching up a few things now. So here's the dude's face. And my way of painting human skin is very, 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 very simple. And all is Talonflesh / modern equivalent with a dry brush of high elf skin or modern equivalent. Let me just find Anarchus, because he's got a fair bit of skin. This is Anarchus. He's the cultist leader, and he's been painted for Black Legion. And the skin, well, explains itself really. So, what I've done so far is that I've prepped, in a way, the bolter to be glued on. I just need to cut off the wrong bolter. Nope, that's the right bolter. Just need to cut off the rest of the trigger, because we don't want that here. It just gets in the way. I am cutting it off right now. What I've done to the bolter so far is that I've painted it chainmail. I've been giving it a homemade wash of watered down undercoat black to darken it, and then what I'm going to do to it is I'm going to dry brush onto it some more chainmail to self-highlight in a way. But before I do, I'm going to glue on his arms. So I'm just going to start the posing process. This will also help with the highlighting as well, as I know which areas are highest and which areas are in shadow. So oh, for God's sake. So there's his pose at the moment. I am also going to cut out his power generator as well, which has been partly highlighted to a point. And I'm going to glue that ornament at the uppermost highlights. I'm not sure if you heard the bang or not, but if you did, then it's just some fireworks because it's November and all that jazz. Unless you're an American, don't get British holidays such as Bonfire Night, Guy Fawkes Day and all that. It's from the 5th of November. Look it up on Google or something. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start applying some highlights to excuse me a sec while I find my dry brush. Where the hell did it go? I'll try and edit this out. Believe me, I will try. Son of a bitch. What the heck? I'm completely confused. Where is it? What the hell? There it is. Found it. And I'm just gonna highlight his armor. Now, the benefits of highlighting in this way is that details end up revealing themselves in the process. So it's a nice method. Goddamn phone, who's ringing? So there we go, that's that highlighted. Now for the uppermost highlights, I recommend using the next brighter shade up from Shadow Grey, which is Space Wolf Grey. Nice, almost whitish grey. And then apply it to the topmost areas. So like on the backpack, apply it to the, say, corners of a point, of the higher areas, so that you achieve a sort of illusion of height. You'll probably be able to do it much better than me because I don't have the best of brushes at the moment or the best of lighting. But essentially the idea is where I'm shining the light but I have a crap light. I've even gone to the effort of making a blooming holder for my head torch so I can film in this kind of light. So try and focus it on him. Can kind of see, but not very well, which annoys me. I will someday get a better camera. I will try. But so next point here is to put some glue on the top of a hand so that we can get his bolt gun on. The bolt gun is the standard weapon of any Space Marine army. It is strength 4, armor penetration rating 5, range of 24 inches, and is a rapid fire weapon, which means at half its range it fires 2 shots, and if the user was to stand still, And if the user was to move and shoot, he can only fire one shot at maximum range. And at max range, it's only one shot, essentially. So, try and angle the light accordingly. There's the loud one. I'm literally pointing at it and it's bright as day, but this camera just sucks. So, I will probably go back into my loft in future vids, because that seems to have the best lighting. Well, now that I've got the bolter in place, we'll start to glue on the left arm. Right now I am using Humbrol poly cement. So here's the pose. Try and... God freaking damn it. Come on, brighten up. There we go. Now you can see him. So, here it is so far. I will pose the head accordingly to fit in with the gun's position. But first things first, I'm going to do his pauldrons. Now, I have a huge selection at my fingertips, so I'm going to go with the best one, really. And I think I'm going to go for the simple one. So what we're going to do here is pretty much how I'm going to do gold on these dudes. And I'm going to start with a base of tin bits or the modern equivalent. Now this would be easy if I had a cleaner brush, but I don't have any brush restorer, so I cannot really do this correctly, but I am sure as hell going to try. So this is a nice basic way to do gold trim with a highlight, except with this one we're not going to dry brush highlight because that would be too messy and it would get everywhere. Also, any school person beyond Whirl who is going to the school league at the Cribs Mall, Saturday this was put up. I will see you there and probably kick your ass. Depending on how good of a tactician you are. In my club I'm the best tactician, but I may not be in the country. Now the benefit of doing this pair of shoulder guards is that there's a little horn on it which will allow me to show you how I paint white horns, which is nice and simple, using an almost white known as orphan grey with highlights like on the tip, for example, of White Scar, or as the version I've got is Skull White. So here's the two paints. So this here, oh dear, is Wolfram Grey. There. So that would be the first layer, and then the top layer, Skull White, or White Scar, depending on whichever you're using at the time you are painting. So now I'm going to glue on these pauldrons so that I can highlight accordingly. Now the pauldrons is what usually ends up giving a Space Marine his bulk. Hang on, I'm going to try and get it to brighten up. It's not reading my fingerprints! So there we go. So if I show you the demonstration guy, with his pauldrons, he looks freaking badass. There'll be pictures up on the club's Facebook page, which I'll try and get a link to if you wish to have a look at some photos of them. So now I'm going to also glue on this guy's bolt pistol, which is a close combat weapon. The person I'm doing these for plans to do with his next box, at least I've recommended this to him, is to problem with polycement. If you get some off and get some on it and you try to rub it off, you will literally remove the paint, all of its layers, so I'm going to have to paint back over that. So this is pretty much a bog standard firing pose that I've got here. So here's his head, and I'm going to paint the top of it scab red. A little plume of hair at the top. Then I'll create a mix of this and Skull White. I don't know dosages in milliliters and such, but I believe it's 2 drops Scab Red, 1 drop Skull White, and that creates a nice highlighting tone. So, clean my brush. The lamp I'm using right now is boiling hot, so I'm gonna just dry it under that. Yeah, so many fireworks tonight. There we go, dry inside. So I'm going to create the mix now. You're joking. Thing I hate about reds, they never come out the brush. No matter how hard you clean them, they stay in. Little bits. So I'm going to prepare this dry brush. It's now powdery form. Okay. I'm also going to apply the skin dry brush. As soon as I get the red out of this sodding brush. So I'm going to go with the elf flesh. Because it's a bright skin tone. And I'm going to just dry brush it on. You can do this any way you wish, but just make sure that the elf flesh does not end up replacing the already put on Talon flesh. So it should end up looking a little like, again, it's not really my fingerprint. Something like this. So there, now I'm going to apply the higher dry brushing. Now, if you have this, I would recommend using a wash of non-oil or Bada Black at this stage for the skin, because that's a really good flesh wash, I find. Because it's black, but not so black. It's sort of browny black, not being racist, but it is. So yeah, that works best, in all honesty, in shading human skin. So I'm gonna finally position the head, but that won't be the end of the painting. Just be the end of the gluing. So here he is now. Sorry for the chipping of paint. It's from gluing it on. So he's finished being built, but he's not finished being painted. So I'm gonna add the finishing touches. So the final highlights. Pretty much just final highlights, really. This sort of style I find works with all forms of Chaos Space Marines. So yeah, you just follow the same basic dry brushes that I've been talking about, and yeah, that's finished. Tune in for my next one. Bye.